We here at Practical Sailor love the idea of living on a sailboat. In fact, all of us here have at one or more points in our lives lived on a sailboat or do right now. But it wouldn't be very practical of us to gloss over the downsides, the hardest parts, the outright awful moments that you'll have living on a boat that'll make you want to scream and move back in with your mom and dad. So I polled everyone, and today, the top 5 things you need to know before and what to expect when you do live on a sailboat. This is the bad stuff. Number 1, the very obvious, but maybe you didn't think of it. Everything is a compromise on a boat as compared to land life. For starters, most boats don't have a clothing washer and dryer. Both appliances would use way too much electricity or water to make sense on a boat, so you'll likely be laundry matting it. And speaking of the lack of electricity and water, your internet isn't as simple as your house internet. The phone or cable guy can't help you with a high-speed, reliable connection on your boat. Now, Starlink has made this easier, but it's not perfect and not as good as the fiber line you might be used to with the 1 gig up, 1 gig down at home. Also, you'll have enough trouble parking the boat somewhere reliably, so don't expect to have a car. Most sailboat liveaboards don't even own a car because there's simply nowhere to keep it, so get used to your bicycle or walking. And the compromises don't end there. It's much harder to have a family pet on the boat. Some people do it, but it's a lot harder. Kids, if you have kids, they might not like the boat at all. It's a lot harder to have people over for dinner. Older family members that are less mobile may not be able to visit you at all because it's hard to get on and off the boat from the dock. You may not have a freezer, so grocery trips will be a lot more frequent, and without a car, a lot more difficult. And speaking of compromises, reason number 2 not to live on a sailboat: showers and sleeping. In my college days, I could sleep anywhere at any time and shower with a garden hose. But as I get older, I find a good night's sleep to be a key part of my happiness. Sailboats notoriously have odd-shaped beds, and because of the nature of a boat, they tend to move around a lot. I recently went camping, on land camping, with some friends and watched for an hour as they set up their camping trailer, raising and lowering jacks and placing a level on each end of the trailer, adjusting the jacks, and then leveling the sides fore and aft. Do campers have a fore and aft? Anyway, an hour of leveling and adjusting, and I thought to myself, wow, I'm so used to sleeping on a sailboat that it never occurred to me that it should be level. I don't think my boat's ever been level. My bed on that boat has never really stopped moving, let alone been level, and damp. A lot of the time, a lack of electricity means you won't be running the AC. So bed will be hotter than you want it to be, with humidity and sometimes damp feeling. And there's only so much you can do about that. If you need to sleep in a cool and dry room, your liveaboard life might just be spent at a marina so that you have all the power you need to run the AC. And then the showers. Boat water tanks are only so big, and water heaters are pretty small on boats. And the power to heat the water is in such demand that your shower routine will be the shortest it's ever been. A couple minutes in and out is fairly normal on a boat. Reason number 3, everything breaks. I don't care if your boat's brand new or you just did a $100,000 refit. Everything on a boat breaks, from the mundane oil changes and impellers to the stitching in the sails, the VHF fuse that keeps blowing, the bilge pump hose came loose again, the toilet is back feeding seawater into the bowl, the igniter for the stove won't work and you have to light it with a lighter, and the electric winch hasn't been electric in months. Salt water and salty air makes things a lot worse. Rigging is rusting, the brightwork needs to be oiled or treated constantly. The birds spent the night on the lifelines again, and you have to scrub the deck as soon as you wake up before the sun bakes everything into the glasswork. And the dinghy has 6 inches of water in it from the rain. An old salt once told me if 80% of the boat is working, it was time to go have an adventure. 80%, because 100% was impossible. Can you imagine an 80% functional house if that was good enough? Everything on a boat breaks all the time. Reason number 4, along with everything breaks, everything's expensive. Most of us get into boat life to try to save a little bit of money, but boats are definitely not cheap. The engine, 20 grand. Rigging, 10 to 15 grand. If you get a cat, it's 20. Sails are about 10 grand. Line, that's what we call any rope on a sailboat once it has a purpose, a line. Most line has to be poly no or low stretch, and that can be several dollars a foot. There's a boat supply store near where I live, and they just did new landscaping and a water feature in their front yard. That should tell you everything you need to know about the marine parts industry. Everyone overcharges on everything, and the one taking the brunt of that joke is the sailor. It's sad, but it forces us to be resilient and inventive and resourceful. We often make our own parts or adapt other things for our boat's use. And reason number 5, the one you likely didn't even think of, and the thing I hated most about living on a boat. The weather is not your friend. Sometimes it's wonderful, but the weather dictates everything in your life. If the wind will be blowing from the west tonight really strong, you'll need to find somewhere to hide from it before you go to bed. If tomorrow the wind switches and comes from the east really strong, you'll need to find somewhere to hide from that. If there's a storm or a tide running the opposite direction that you want to go, it's going to be blowing 40 knots for a few days, so hunker down and somewhere and hide. Maybe you have somewhere you have to be in a week, but you can't go because the waves are 10 feet high. The weather will truly dictate every aspect of your life on a boat. The weather comes first, ahead of your own agenda. Any expectations that anyone else has of you to be somewhere on a given day or a given time, your plans, your destination goals, even what the customs of a new country wants you to do, the weather will always come first. And if you defy it, you could likely lose your home. The weather is the mighty equalizer in the boating world, and as much as you wish you could control it, if it would just stop blowing 35 knots through the rigging so you can get even 2 hours of sleep so you can work tomorrow, but it won't. You have absolutely no choice on the weather. It controls you. Now, all of this is not to say you shouldn't live on a boat. It can be the most rewarding lifestyle that is out there. You get the same $1 million view anyone else does for a fraction of the price. You aren't tied to one location and free to go wherever you want. Most of us head south. And when things break or you're looking for cheaper ways to fix things, people like us here at Practical Sailor love to help you out. We've got decades of articles specifically for you, like this one helping you with navigation lights for your dinghy, or this one helping you find a fuel-efficient RPM on your engine to save you some money. I'll link both of those in the description. We've got decades of these things, and now we have this YouTube channel aimed at doing the same thing, making your life on board easier. So please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you like sailboats. And leave a comment if you're a liveaboard and tell me, what was your #1 complaint about living on a boat? I can't wait to hear from you guys in the comments.